dire straits. Here's the truth.
We've got the Dow dropping below 30,000, below its June lows. The Dow and S&P are now both below their June lows.
NASDAQ certainly already there, down 22% and about 30% for the NASDAQ year to date. There's a fear here that we're slipping into something pretty bad. The Dow very close, just about at bear market territory, the lowest in a couple of years.
It's a pretty bleak picture that's emerging this Friday morning.
Oh, but there is some good news.
Domino's Pizza, I know they got an upgrade.
Yes,
and they're up.
Outperformance today. I think it's one of the top performers in the S&P.
Let them eat pizza. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs is downgrading its growth estimates by 16%. Bank of America is warning of a crash on the bond market side, and gas prices have stopped declining. And another, it's cutting flights, deferring projects, and closing offices to save $2.7 billion this fiscal year. This is all you needed to do was to keep things on autopilot. Just open up whatever was closed, get people back to work, turn off the spending spigot. You had it made in the shade. Instead, Biden did his stupid 100 days of masking. Remember that? That, of course, extended far beyond that. And, of course, the White House issued harmful vaccine mandates. Federal workers. We ended up having a pilot shortage, healthcare worker shortage. Then there's the federal workers who just never came back. And now we have a frightening decline in our military recruiting, also tied in part to Biden's vax mandate. So Biden, with all sorts of other really important spillover effects. But remember, over 4 years of Trump, the market returns were phenomenal. Look at where we are with Biden. And on inflation, the comparison is stark. In fact, new analysis today from the Heritage Foundation finds that the average American has lost $4,200 in annual income since President Biden took office, entirely wiping out gains made under the Trump administration. Now, they warned of a global backlash against the Fed, and they've called interest rate hikes cruel, and also that the Federal Reserve is confusing the market and hurting the economy. Now, reality check here. It was Biden who reappointed Powell for another term. The Angle thought that Powell, back in the spring of 2021, was dropping the ball on inflation, though. And on what basis should Jerome Powell be renominated as Fed chair, by the way? Will not take ownership of the suffering that they're inflicting on all Americans now. So all they can do is say January 6th, and abortion over and over again. They can obsess over Trump. That's about it. And that means in New Hampshire, vote Don Bolduc for Senate. In Pennsylvania, for Mehmet Oz. In Arizona, for Blake Masters. In Georgia, vote Herschel Walker over Warnock. In Washington State, support Tiffany Smiley, she's a newcomer, over that tired old leftist Patty Murray. And in Nevada, Adam Laxalt over Cortez Masto. And that means vote for